Nigeria is currently contending with a record high inflation rate at 34.19% in June 2024 due to the two-time devaluation of the naira and removal of petrol subsidy. The inflationary trends have raised Nigeria's interest rates by a combined 800 basis points from 18.75% last July to 26.75% as the central bank continues to deploy monetary tools to restore the battered economy. Now, food inflation, which constitutes the largest percentage of the headline inflation, is currently 40.87%. The cost of energy and transportation have skyrocketed in the last 1 year, making life difficult for the masses. Well, joining me at this second half to discuss the protest also is Hassan Taiwo Soweto, is the spokesperson, Youth Rights Campaign. Also joining me is Dayo, the national youth leader of the All Progressives Congress. And we also have in the studio live, Darlington Umoru, a security expert. Gentlemen, thank you for being a part of the program.
My pleasure being here.
All right. Let me start off with you, Mr. Umoru. Interesting times again in Nigeria, but I believe that you, of course, must have been following all of the security trends when it comes to situations like this. There's a lot of tension and apprehension, particularly when it comes to civil and also military or uniformed men interaction. I would like, from a security standpoint, what do you think has been the missing link over the years?
Between who and who now?
The security operatives and protesters.
Nigeria is going through a lot in terms of insecurity at the moment. Over a decade now, we've had a series of killings in this country, credited to terrorists and bandits. And we have not been able to conquer all of that. That has affected food security. It has affected the economy of this country. Agreed, there's hunger in the land. But the question I asked from the standpoint of security view, is this time right for any protest?
So now, are you questioning the rationale for protest?
Sure, yes. Protest? If you're going to be protesting at this point in time, it meant that you're taking away, you're going to be diverting attention of security agencies and the military away from terrorists and the bandits. In Imo State, the protest had not started. The last EndSARS protest we had, what happened? Police stations were attacked, burnt. Security men were killed.
But don't you think hunger is also a bigger security threat?
Hunger is a big security threat. But would you, at the same time, compare that to insecurity? Where you have lots of proliferation of small arms and light weapons, illicit arms, flying everywhere. But then at this point in time, hang on, at this point in time, just like the protesters are working on how to go about their peaceful and lawful protest, you also have some persons who want to cash in into what the opportunity the protesters will be providing for them to go into crimes. Take it or leave it, put it down today, and you quote me at the end of the day. They have asked for 10 days, 1st to 10th. If you have to have protest in 10 days, how will it not degenerate?
So you're against the protest?
I am not completely in support of the protest at this point in time for reasons that the country at the moment is passing through lots of insecurity. We have terrorists to tackle, we have bandits to tackle, now, let's look at it this way. Take the EndSARS protest, for instance. What happened at the end of the day? There are going to be those who want to protest on the side of the government.
But shouldn't that be the responsibility of security agencies or security men on ground to ensure that there's protection of lives and properties and protests, peaceful protests, are not hijacked? Maybe I should leave you for a moment. Let me go to, of course, Soweto on this one. Soweto, what's your take on the protest for tomorrow, the peaceful protest for tomorrow?
Yeah. Before I go into that, I'd like to contend a little bit with the gentleman in the studio because when he was introduced as a security expert and he was speaking, I was expecting that he's going to do a number of theorization for us about the nexus between national security and poverty and hunger. Because when you call someone an expert, then we expect this kind of, expert opinion. Because from my own understudy of the Nigerian problem, actually how Boko Haram, started, then you are going to realize, for instance, that the parlor state of the North, is a breeding ground for insurgency. And that is why you have had, for instance, the Boko Haram become one of the very most thriving, most successful terrorist group anywhere in the world, because it had a very good soil to grow. What is happening across the country today, particularly with the level of hunger and hardship in the Southwest, means that for over the next few decades, there's a likelihood that the same level of insecurity that you have in the Northeast could actually become prevalent in the Southwest. And that is because you are now beginning to have in the Southwest a situation whereby many people are not able to complete public education. People are dropping off at the level of SS2, SS3, because their parents cannot afford the cost of public education. People don't have jobs. You have young people, 10 years after graduation, you don't have jobs. Those people will become ready-made material, for all kinds of insurgency and crime in the future. So that I think that from even a security point of view, our security experts actually need to begin to say that this protest is about national security itself. This protest is about preventing Nigeria, from a further insecurity. That is what I think I should add to that. But when it comes to the protest tomorrow, it will be important to inform Nigerians that the protest tomorrow will go on as we have already said. We are obviously aware of all of the threat, of all of the intimidation. In fact, over the past 48 hours, you have had in Lagos State, for instance, thugs affiliated with the ruling party, the APC, go into market to threaten Igbo traders, saying that they are going to kill them and slaughter them if there is any protest tomorrow. We have also had threats even to those of us who are protest organizers. And for instance, the Lagos State government, the Attorney General, went to the Federal High Court, the State High Court yesterday to get a court order against myself and 3 other people, saying that if protests hold anywhere except designated places, then we are going to be held responsible. Meanwhile, you have to examine that court order very well, because it also tells you about how the ruling elite, especially under this present government, have completely bastardized all the institutions of our so-called democracy. Because that order, is what you call a Jankara court order, because it's an order that is given to the government simply to muzzle all of the rights that are constitutionally guaranteed: the right to freedom of assembly, the right to freedom of movement. What the state is saying now is that if you are in Ikorodu or you are in Epe and you want to protest peacefully against the hardship and hunger that you face, you have to find money to transport yourself from Epe to either the Peace Park at K2 or the Freedom Park at Ojota before you can protest. Mind you, this is somebody that is hungry, who doesn't even have money to feed. Where will such a person find money to transport themselves to those designated places? We can't continue to say that we are practicing a democracy while we are tolerating these flagrant violations of people's rights. And I think that is what the media really need to do for us. I'm calling on the Nigerian media that we are going to be witness to what would happen over the next couple of days. And what the journalists can do for us is to ensure that their cameras and
Soweto, let me leave you for a moment. Let me just leave you for a moment, Soweto. Let me bring in... Great. Soweto, I'll still give you time to talk, but let me bring in Dayo Israel. He's actually the national youth leader of the All Progressives Congress, the ruling party. Dayo Israel, thank you for joining me on Politics HQ on News Central.
Thank you very much, my brother, for having me here.
All right, great. Let me put my question to you this way. Nigeria is currently contending with a record high inflation rate at 34.19%. That's in June 2024, due to, of course, the devaluation, part of the policies of the current administration. And at the moment, the inflationary trends have risen, Nigeria's interest rate to a combined 800 basis points of 18.75%, just last July. And it has gone up to about 26.75%. And more importantly, food inflation, gone up to about 40.87%. Do you think, looking at all of these current realities, a protest is a way to go?
Thank you very much, my brother. And there's nobody denying that there are problems. The reality is that there are challenges. At the same time, there are also opportunities. Over the last few months, things have been challenging for a lot of Nigerians. You've reeled out the statistics, but beyond the statistics, a common man is probably buying a cup of Gary for 200. Fuel has gone to about 680, depending on where you are buying it from. The price of bread have had its own challenge. But the reality is that, number one, these things are not particularly peculiar to Nigeria. The challenges are global. The same experiences is being seen in the UK, in the US, in many economies across Africa. Now, is it a good turn? Is it a good experience? No. But the comfort and the hope and the assurance is the fact that we know that a lot is being done by the
Dayo Israel, are you there?
For the Nigerian people, and that there are going to be solutions, and that the president is doing his best all day to ensure that the Nigerian people can be happy.
But Dayo, I want to ask you,
and that the voice of
given the current realities of...
I was just speaking.
Okay, let me allow you land.
I was just speaking at the House of Reps today at a town hall meeting between the Speaker, the leadership of the Parliament, and the Nigerian youth. And my position was very simple, that as a government, I think we have been more reactionary at some times than being proactive in terms of how we are engaging the young people. But there's a commitment to do more and ensure that we're listening to young people more. We, the young people in this administration, in this party, are doing our best and working with our leaders. And we know that the president has a commitment. Because, for example, the president has given the youth 2 different ministers in this country. Beyond that, a lot of young people in terms of youth inclusion have been given a seat at the table. Now we're trying to turn that seat at the table into positive reality. But why did I mention the seat at the table? Is that the president has good and genuine intention to be able to wipe away the tears of Nigerians and build a long-lasting system. So yes, you read out the data and statistics. There are challenges, we agree. We are only saying that as Nigerians feel this impact of our policies, which are designed to make life bearable on the long term for the people, that we please give the president some time for the impact of his work to begin to yield fruits. You say by their fruit you will know them. When you begin to see decisions such as the student loan program that has just even enrolled a lot of more state universities, federal universities, where young people who normally will not be able to afford their school fees are now able to access non-interest loans to pay their school fees. And even beyond that, they are also getting money for their own upkeep. Or the people who can now access the credit card program, or the people who are going to be able to access the
Dayo, you said quite a number of things.
That will be rolled out in a few weeks.
You've rolled out quite a couple of policies, but the big question on the lips of many is, are they feeling the impact? I'd like to go back to you, Soweto. The president has asked that you be patient and give him time, give his policies time for it to mature. Some policies have been set in motion. Part of what Dayo mentioned was the loan for students. Then we also know that there's a lot of young people when it comes to inclusion in national affairs. I'd like you to react to this, Soweto. Do you have a listening government?
Well, yeah, the president is expected to talk like that, but it's also important, and I'm saying this to Dayo, because when people say that youth should be in power, this is also the time for young people who have found themselves in political office to also try and be righteous and demonstrate, that we actually know what we are doing. Because yes, it is the place of the president, to say that it should be given some time. But at the same time, in a democracy, it's also in the place of the people, the citizens, to also say that
Soweto, are you there?
they exercise their right. That right must really be recognized. What we are seeing in this country today is that while the president is saying that give me time, he's prepared to muzzle the rights of those who actually want to freely protest. And I think that the national youth leader of the APC has a big burden, on his shoulders. For instance, those of us who are going out in Lagos tomorrow, we have been threatened that we are going to be slaughtered, we are going to be beaten. I'm going to be at Ikeja under bridge by 7 a.m. tomorrow. And I've heard, from different sources, from our members, that, talks affiliated to your party, are already mobilizing, to come and attack people there. And the police are saying that they are not going to offer protection. I think the national youth leader, ought to tell the nation through this interview whether he endorses such actions or such threat from his members. And if he doesn't, what is he going to do to ensure that, our lives are protected tomorrow? I've had some of our members who have had to call their parents this night, saying that they don't know what would happen to them tomorrow. I myself, I'm going to make a call to my own parent, as well as my son, later this night, to say that we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I just want to go out as your father to peacefully protest, but I don't know what is going to happen to me. I think the national youth leader has to speak to this.
All right. At this point,
thank you. I'm more than happy to
Dayo, I'm afraid I know you have a lot to say, but we need to go on a commercial break now. When we return, we'll take your response to some of the things Soweto has said. Stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. This is still Politics HQ on News Central Television, and of course, we are looking at matters arising, as regards tomorrow's protest in Nigeria. I still have with me the spokesperson, a youth rights group, that campaign group, talking about Hassan Taiwo Soweto. I also have with me Dayo Israel, the national youth leader of the All Progressives Congress, and Darlington Umoru, security expert. Gentlemen, thank you for staying with me.
My pleasure.
All right, Dayo,
thank you very much.
All right, great. Dayo, you wanted to respond to some of the things Soweto said before we went on that break. Let me give you some moment to respond.
Thank you. First, I want to tell my brother Soweto that I stand with you shoulder to shoulder on your right to express your grievances and your concerns by form of a peaceful protest. Our party, the government, and the president is not scared or afraid of a protest. As a matter of fact, the president has led protests many times, and he was at the forefront of it. I have participated in protests. I was, as a teenager, part of the 1 million man march of Ganifawa and me when I was a little boy. And so, protest is a fundamental human right. What we are concerned about as a government or as a party is that we must be able to ensure that the situation that degenerated into carnage during the EndSARS protest must not be allowed to repeat itself. But every Nigerian, every living being has a fundamental human right to freedom of association, to be able to, go out there and freely exercise their right to protest. What we are saying is that protests must not generate into a situation that houses will be burnt down, or vehicles will be stolen, shops will be broken into, because of those that have a propensity and a potential to leverage on this protest to cause accident and carnage and damage to the Nigerian people.
All right, let me come back to Darlington in the studio. You pretty much passionate about this from a security perspective. But again, it's constitutional for Nigerians to go out to protest.
Absolutely.
Don't you think,
right.
I mean, aren't you of the opinion that right now, security agencies should be, at top gear to ensure that, properties are not lost, lives are not lost. I believe your concern should be geared more towards, the security operatives than the protesters.
The security agencies, as we speak now, that's why the Inspector General of Police, for instance, had a meeting with some of them yesterday, which also included Femi Falana, a virtual meeting, which they had to discuss and look at possible solutions on how to, secure some of these persons, particularly to ensuring that these protests are not hijacked. But what is the guarantee that at the end of the day, these protests will not be hijacked?
So are you saying that our security, architecture is not up to the task? Is that what you're saying?
You are saying that.
No, that's what I'm asking.
That's not
are you
what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
Because you said you can't.
For instance, like I said initially, attention will be taken away. All the police and all the security agencies, for instance, now they are meeting and trying to fine-tune arrangement on how to protect the protesters. The Inspector General of Police also said that. Protect the protesters who want to go on peaceful protest.
That includes property.
But have you also forgotten that there are people who are also criminals, who are also holding their own meetings now on how to capitalize on that peaceful protest to commit crimes? Hijack the protest, break into shops, like he said.
But that's the reason. But I still maintain that that's the reason why we have the police, for instance. Being on ground to live up to the responsibility at times like this. Let me. Are you saying
that you're not? The police has said what they want to do, and the police has also advised to be able to monitor the peaceful protesters. The police is also saying that the protesters should limit themselves to certain areas. But yet, I do not completely agree with the areas provided for Lagos State, which, like, those two areas are in one zone, about the same zone. Like Israel stated earlier on, what about those who want to protest from Badagry? Are you saying they have to travel all the way from Badagry to either go to Ojota or go to Ketu? That is not it. But the police is trying to say that they should be given an opportunity to be able to monitor and protect and see that the protesters do not degenerate from peaceful protest to like the kind of words we have heard some of them make use of.
Anyway, let me leave you for a moment, Umoru. Let me go back to Dayo Israel. Dayo, there are strong allegations that certain individuals, many of them young, like yourself, are and strongly affiliated to the ruling party, are threatening individuals that if you come out tomorrow, you might just be in danger. Dissuading individuals, saying that you shouldn't protest. If you protest, whatever happens to you, you are solely responsible. I would like you to respond to this. And many individuals are saying they are linked to the ruling party.
Let me first say that nobody can threaten anybody not to protest. It is a fundamental human right to protest. The only position of the government is that we must ensure that this peaceful protest do not degenerate into violent protests that leads to carnage.
So what do you say about individuals threatening people, telling them that if you come out tomorrow, your life is in danger?
They should be arrested.
Hold on, and that is why the government is saying certain areas should be even in developed nations. You would have, for example, people who come to do their rallies in front of maybe government headquarters or certain area and all of that, because as that right to protest exists, so also do the right of other citizens who choose not to protest but are able to go about their daily life. You cannot tell people not to protest because it's their fundamental human right. At the same time, right comes with responsibilities. And so I do not believe that anybody in our party will tell people not to come out and protest. What we have only communicated is that such protests should not lead to violence. And as a better way is that if you can, adopt a way to have conversations and communicate your grievances to government that does, so that things do not get out of hand. Because the real threat, don't mind those people who are telling you that APC people are telling people not to come out. The real threat are those who are telling people to come out, to come and cause violence and anarchy. The real threat are those who are telling people to come out and burn down Lagos. Don't forget that in the NSAS, it was people that were going out, like Nnamdi Kanu, that were even identifying places for people to go and burn down and go and take over. Allegedly, that Nnamdi Kanu was telling people, go and take over this place, go and burn down that place. That led to carnage, destruction of buses that were for the public use, and social service centers like the DNA, center, and all of that. So we are concerned about those who are actually leveraging social media to inspire people to go and cause violence protests. This should not be allowed to happen.
So are you less concerned about those who are also using the same social media to tell people that if you come out tomorrow, you're in trouble?
So I can tell you that I have not seen any of such messages. And I'm sure if any such messages is even communicated, I am sure it is probably
Dayo, I'm sorry. You said you have not seen any of such videos.
So threatening Nigerians that if they come out to protest, I'm sure that if any of such messages is being communicated, it is telling those that want to leverage the protest to cause violence, not to think
My
about.
My question is, have you seen any of such videos?
I haven't, unfortunately. And of course,
you've not seen any.
I appreciate that. My work has been very busy. I haven't really been much online. As I speak to you, I'm in the office of the Honorable Minister of Youth, where we're actually discussing strategies to manage the process. I had to excuse myself into the private room to have this conversation.
We can actually avail you that opportunity to see one of such videos, right now. Let's take a watch.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ẹni tó bá tó bẹ́ẹ̀ tó bá ti ká tó ṣe àjáde kò bá ṣàríyé ẹni tó bá ti tó bẹ́ẹ̀ tó bá ti ká tó ṣe. This is not to threaten you.
As I am begging.
You say if you get mad, make you come outside. Say you want to. This is an threat now.
I believe you've seen it now. That actually happened in Lagos.
Unfortunately, the audio was not very good.
The audio wasn't good enough?
The audio very well of what they were saying.
Really? Okay, let me explain it to you. What that individual was telling them is that if you would come out tomorrow, if you know you are strong enough, if you feel that you are a stubborn person, come out tomorrow, whatever happens to you, you are solely responsible.
So let me, I cannot, number one, I didn't hear that because my phone is on the table, I am far away.
Anyway, Dayo, we actually had the
circumstances.
Police. Okay, let me hear you.
Okay. So I can't judge for the people who are there, but I would say that we may not understand the peculiarities because this may be a situation where they are addressing those that have the propensity to cause violence or those who wants to come and create violence. This may be the community that is prone to cause leverage protests like this to cause violence, and they may be addressing those audiences.
I'm sorry, Dayo. I might just need to interrupt you there. I would like to bring in Soweto to just briefly react because we are pressed for time.
Well, I think we can all see it with our eyes. We can all hear it. This is a mockery. What Dayo is saying is a mockery. And I would just like to say this to the news central, to the media, and to Nigerians, that if anything happens to us tomorrow, you know who to hold. That your history, national youth leader of APC, should be held responsible. there is one
No,
individual.
Soweto, sorry, I might need to.
Team Lagos,
right,
which is an APC team.
Soweto,
in Ikeja.
That's not right.
that's exclusively your own
Is
opinion.
the head of the
and has nothing to do with Nigerians,
of
please.
the thug in Ikeja, and they have
On News
said that
Central.
tomorrow morning they are going to unleash violence on them. And Dayo has just moralized that. Here on national TV.
No.
This is a mockery. This
Anyway,
is a mockery.
Soweto.
How have I moralized that? I am saying that
right,
Nigerians have a right to protest and that nobody has a right to stop Nigerians from
This is
protest.
stop for international criminal court. Shame on you.
Gentlemen, Soweto, please.
Somalia, in Liberia, and
Gentlemen.
shame on you on national TV.
Gentlemen, Soweto, please, 1 minute. Because we're pressed for time, we need to go.
That
Dayo, 30
call against Igbo traders, against young people in the market. It's a shame. We must say things by their name. We fought for this democracy.
Unfortunately, I don't understand why Mr. Soweto is being hypocritical and picking on me. I have said that Nigerians have a right to protest. I have said that nobody has any right to stop Nigerians from protesting. I have also confirmed that I
gentlemen, we need to go. We need to go. We need to go. Gentlemen,
is looking for somebody
Gentlemen, we need to go. We need to go. Dayo Israel.
Anybody
Gentlemen, I'm afraid we need to go. Thank you so much for being a part of today's show. Thank you so much for your time. Dayo Israel, the National Youth Leader of the All Progressives Congress. And we also had Soweto Taiwo Soweto, the spokesperson, Youth Rights Campaign. And in the studio with me is Darlington Umoru, who's a security expert. Well, that's the beat we can take. Let me also categorically state that Soweto's opinion exclusively is, and every other opinion that is, not just that of Soweto, exclusively theirs, not that of News Central, and we sincerely appreciate your time. In case you missed out, you might, of course, want to follow us on YouTube. That's News Central TV. My word to you is this. If you must come out tomorrow, it's your constitutional right. Please maintain peace and order. That is how you win this fight. That is how you win this battle. Peace and order. It's your constitutional right to protest, but please let us do it peacefully and with order. My name is Dakbo Adigboye. Bye for now.